Greetings, Toiletarians! I'm your host, Toilet Terry, and you guys are all watching Toilet Talk with Terry. That's me! Yeah, that's me, obviously. In this episode, we are not doing much of a discussion topic, per se. Instead, I am going to tell you guys my top 10 favorite jokes that I learned and laughed at as a child. And also, I'm going to be undergoing a small challenge here. I am not allowed to laugh while sharing these jokes with you guys. I'm supposed to try not to laugh. We don't know how that'll go, but there's only one way to find out, so let's get started, shall we? Joke number 1, otherwise known as the world's funniest joke. So 2 hunters are out in the woods. One of them collapses out of the blue. He doesn't seem to be breathing, and his eyes are red. The other guy whips out his phone. He calls the emergency services and says, "My friend is dead. What do I do?" "Relax," the operator says. "I can help. First, let's make sure he's dead." Then there is silence. A shot is heard. And then back on the phone, the guy says, "Okay, now what?" Okay, I didn't do too bad on that one. Number 2. There are only 3 kinds of people in this world. Those who can count, and those who can't. That one's a little cheesy. Yeah, Alright, third joke. There are 4 people on an airplane. A doctor, a lawyer, a little boy, and an old man. But there are only... the plane is about to go down, and there are only 3 backpacks with parachutes in them. Only 3. So the 4 people have to decide who gets to survive and which one of them needs to die. So the doctor says, "I save lives. People need me," so he takes one and he jumps out of the plane. The lawyer says, "I'm the smartest man in the world. People need me for my intelligence," so he jumps. And then the old man says to the little boy, "My time on this earth is almost up anyway. Why don't you go?" And the little boy says to the old man, "No, it's okay. We can both go because the smartest man in the world just jumped out of the plane with my backpack." Yeah, that's a good one. That's good. And now, for a little Johnny joke. So little Johnny's kindergarten class was learning the alphabet. The teacher asks, he calls out Johnny and asks, "Can you tell us what the first 4 letters of the alphabet are?" And he said, "No." And the teacher said, "Okay, well, for your homework tonight, you have to find out what the first 4 letters of the alphabet are and tell them to me tomorrow." So he goes home. He approaches his older sister first, who's always really mean to him, and he says to her, "What are the first 4 letters of the alphabet?" And she goes, "Shut up." He says, "Okay." So then he goes to his brother who's playing video games and asks the same question, "What are the first 4 letters of the alphabet?" And his brother said, "Da-da-da-da, I'm Batman." Then he goes to his father, who's watching football, and asks him, "What are the first 4 letters of the alphabet?" And his father says, Go, 49ers." Says, "Okay." So then he goes to his mom, who's baking, and says, "What are the first 4 letters of the alphabet?" And then she starts freaking out and says, My buns are burning." He says, "Okay." So the next day at school, the teacher asks him, "So, did you do the homework assignment? What are the first 4 letters of the alphabet?" He says to her, "Shut up." The teacher says, "Excuse me, who do you think you are?" And little Johnny says, "Da-da-da-da, I'm Batman." And then the teacher sends little Johnny to the principal's office for a spanking. The principal asks him a question. The question is, how many spankings do you think you deserve?" And he says, Go, 49ers." And then in the middle of his spanking, he's like, my buns are burning, my buns are burning. Oh boy. Wow. All right, now on to the next joke. I may have told this one before, but I'm going to tell it again since it's one of my favorites. There was this little boy who was naughty as could be all year. When Christmas started drawing near, he began to feel sad because he obviously made Santa's naughty list and wasn't getting anything for Christmas unless he shaped up soon. So he goes and asks his mother, what do I do? And his mother says to him, here, notebook paper, a pencil. You write a letter to God, write a letter to Jesus, saying how sorry you are for being so naughty this year. He's like, okay, so then he starts writing, Dear Jesus, I have been good for the last 6 months. Wait, no, that's a lie. So he scraps that one and he starts writing again, Dear Jesus, I have been good for the past week. And then he's like, no, that's also a lie. So he scraps that one. But then right next to where he's writing the note is a manger scene with Mary, the baby Jesus, and Joseph and everything. So he takes the Mary figurine out of the scene and then he starts writing, Dear Jesus, if you ever want to see your mother again. Ooh, that's a bad boy right there. All right, on to the next one. So, there was this little girl who lived alone with her mother. Her mother was hosting a dinner party. And when it came time to say grace at the dinner table, the mother asked the daughter, why don't you say grace? And she's like, no, I have no idea what to say. Maybe you should say it. And then the mother says to her daughter, just say what I always say. And then the daughter says, okay. Oh, dear Lord, why did I invite all these stupid people? Now, on to the next one, shall we? This is a dumb blonde joke. And we all know those are hilarious, for the most part. So there's a brunette, a redhead, and a blonde about to be executed for their crimes. The shooter says to the brunette, any last words? And the brunette says, hurricane, which makes the shooter freak out and turn around, and then the brunette makes a run for it. And he says, I should have known there wasn't a hurricane. She made a run for it. So then he goes to the redhead and says, any last words? And the redhead says, tornado! He turns around, there's no tornado. And then by the time he turns back around, the redhead has gotten away as well. So then he goes to the blonde and says, any last words you would like to say? And she says, fire! Whew, oh boy. That one never ever gets old. On to the next one. This is a yo mama joke. And we all know those are hilarious for the most part, as well as blonde jokes. This is probably the best yo mama joke I've ever heard in my life. Yo mama's so old that when God said, let there be light, she flipped the switch. Short, but sweet and funny. On to the next one. So there was this lady, really young lady, getting onto the bus with her baby. The bus driver says to her, ugh, that is one ugly baby. This offends her so bad. She goes all the way to the back of the bus and sits there. And the guy sitting next to her says, why do you look down? Did something happen? And she says, yes. The bus driver just said something very insulting to me. And the guy says back to her, well, why don't you go sort things out with him while I stay here with your monkey? Classic. Now, for the last joke, my favorite joke of all time. So, there was a man getting ready to go on a week-long vacation, but he needed somebody to watch and feed his cat and look in on his sick mother-in-law. He finds somebody to do it before he leaves, and a few days into vacation, the housekeeper calls him and says, "You're not going to like these news." And the guy says, "What?" And the housekeeper says, "Your cat died." And then the guy's like, "Oh, come on, you just ruined my vacation. You could have let me down so much easier. You could have called 3 times. The first time you called, you could have said, 'Your cat is stuck on the roof.' The second time, you could have called and said, 'She got pneumonia while she was on the roof.' And then the third time, you could have said, 'Well, it's too late. We couldn't save her.'" So then, a couple more days after that, into the vacation, the housekeeper calls and says, "Your mother-in-law is stuck on the roof." Funny, huh? Well, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. What is upcoming will be amazing. You won't want to miss it. All right. Take care. Peace out.